This is the Lockpicker 1969, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the next episode of Interview with a Lockpicker. Today's guest is Craig 3.0. Say hi.
Hey, how you doing?
So, where are you from?
I'm from Broward, Florida, born and raised.
Okay. So, how and when did you get into locksport?
So, I think I was around 12, and I just remember my dad screwed up, locked a bike up, and ends up, he got a lock pick set out, picked the bike open, and I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Okay.
And I was in middle school at the time. I started, I found like old like master locks. I started using like, I remember I had this thing. If you took the clip off a pen, sometimes like there would be like a metal tab in there. I used to use that as tension, and I used to use like a bent paper clip
Cool.
as a hook.
Cool. Okay. So, where did it go from there?
So I kept doing that off and on. Let's see. Yeah, so at some point, my dad gave me his lockpick set.
Okay.
And actually, I was talking to my brother last night. Turns out he gave a lockpick set to each of us, but I was the only one who like took the hobby up.
Okay.
I think that was engineered on his part, sort of get us into something. But I started picking more difficult locks. At some point, I remember having like a lock gauntlet, like a master lock, an old ace lock, some unmarked stuff, and I would lay it out on my bed, and I would time myself how fast I can pick this one, and then get to that one, and then get to that one. I got it down to like 40 seconds.
Okay.
And I started getting more and more into it.
Okay. So, where'd you go from there?
So eventually I don't know how it started, but I started watching like Bosnian Bill and Luck Being the Lawyer on YouTube.
Yep.
And I just remember being like totally new to the sport. I started getting more and more into it. I remember sending Bosnian Bill this awful green like lotto padlock, like cost like $5. I'm like, this is impossible. Send it to him. I'm sure he's got a pile of that stuff. He never responded.
So he never picked it. He never picked it.
After I joined LPU at some point, I was like, oh, this thing. I picked it up and I picked it in like 5 seconds.
Okay.
It was really easy. It's really bad tolerances, but at the time I was like, this is impossible.
Yeah.
Let's see if Bosnian Bill can do it.
Yeah.
And then I started like I started getting a harder lock. So I got into like Abus and stuff like that, and I started searching for searching online. There was a couple like tier lists out there.
Yeah.
Like someone, I remember one of them said like top of the list, American 1100. Nothing's harder than that. And then I found this Reddit group, and they had like a really detailed like belt ranking system.
Yeah.
And it's like hundreds of locks. And I noticed like, oh, join our Discord. So I joined up, and that was like 3.5 years ago.
Okay. So was that your first real intro into the community?
Yeah, other than like YouTube comments under like LPL videos, yeah.
Okay. So what was your initial involvement in the community, and where would you say it's at today?
So initially I was just like the new guy asking questions, you know? Come in and like, okay, I hit this pin and then the lock turned a little bit. I don't know what's happening. And people would jump in. And it was amazing seeing like, sitting there and like asking like a dumb question, and like 5 people come in and like seriously try to help you. Yep. It was amazing. Just, it's such a helpful community.
Yeah, definitely.
And like at every point, they're like, I'm like, hey, I just picked this like Abus 80 Ti, and like people are like, nice, man, that's awesome. And it's like the same like if someone comes in and says like, "Hey, I just picked this ace padlock," it's like yellow. It's like, "Nice, dude, you got it." Like it's so encouraging.
Yeah, that was definitely for me the same experience. It was very encouraging. It
Hmm.
kept me going and kept me wanting to keep picking more locks. So, yep. So
Yeah,
you are a black belt first Dan.
right.
Can you talk about what your journey was like?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'd been picking for a while before I got to the LPU. I joined up like at Greenbelt, I think, because I was picking the Avis ADTI. And I got to get blue. The first thing you do is like make a CL, which I'm sure we're going to talk about later. But
Oh yeah, oh
that,
yeah.
that took a little bit, and I got to blue, and then I was blue for a while. I don't know how long. Then I finally got to purple, and no, I remember now. I was blue for like probably I think I was wrong with what I told you before. I think I was blue for like a year and a half. I was purple for not that long. All right, so I started off at green. So I was blue for like probably a year or so. Probably maybe a year and a half. I don't know how long. I was blue for a long time. I couldn't pick any purple locks. I tried a lot of them. And then it was I picked the Illinois Duo and
Mm-hmm.
like Yale Superior, which are like the two easiest purple locks.
Okay.
And then right, and then I was purple for a while after that. This is years ago. I've been going through the belt slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt kind of like low because I'm like, I got purple, but like I got the easiest locks. Then I picked the Duracan, which is like what the hardest brown lock, so it felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and after I hit brown, it was kind of like a race to the top. I hit like one big spurt, and what really happened was I started picking DD locks, Distatainer.
Yep. Okay.
And if it wasn't for Distatainer, I wouldn't be black,
Okay.
like for sure.
So
It was, yeah, good.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like I broke so many picks on like barrels and like all this other. I tried so many types of locks, and I finally hit Distatainer, and it's like something in my head clicked. Like, yeah.
Okay. So what did you finally hit black with? I mean, did you do quests along with it, or did you just all pick all
Yeah.
locks? Okay.
So I did two quests. I did group 2, and I did making a Distatainer pick. But to answer the first question, I picked Dom Diamond and Abloy disc lock.
Okay.
Back when we got an upgrade for making our own tools.
Very cool. So I want to go back for a second. You talked about making your blue belt challenge lock. Can you talk about
Right.
that a little bit?
So that was I'm trying to remember, a Packlock 90A body
Okay.
with a Commando lock core. And that core does not fit in that padlock, but I made it fit. Don't remember why I did that. It took like 10 hours of machining.
Oh boy.
I don't know why I did that. I just like the core. But the big selling point of that one was I would recommend you don't make things this way, but I put a milling bit and a drill press, and I just sort of like sketchy milled a hole in the padlock body, and I put two 1/2-inch neodymium magnets in there.
Okay.
And the idea behind that would be that if you stuck your pick in there, it would suck the pick to the bottom of the keyway.
Okay.
And it actually worked pretty well.
Yeah,
It took so
that's just evil. So, did making that challenge lock for your blue belt encourage you to make more challenge locks?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I came up with dumbest, craziest idea I could and built it, and like it worked. That's I think anyone thinking about getting in challenge lock, you have a crazy idea in your head, do it, because it's so fun.
Yep. So what other kinds of locks did you make?
Oh, I made trying to remember. I made a tiny little TSA lock, like one of those master lock TSA locks,
Yep.
like the size of your thumbnail. 3 pins, really terrible tolerances. I took one of those apart. I drilled and reamed all the chambers, and I put like really. I also drilled the plug so they sit like have maybe a couple millimeters lower in the keyway. I made this awesome 3-pin challenge lock out of a TSA lock. I think I sent it to Super Loki.
Okay.
But, yeah, that was awesome. I made a few, I think. I came up with a lot of designs that never made it out because I don't know. I still want to build them. I got an idea with like rubber pins that has been in the works for like years. But I made half of yeah, go ahead.
I said I can't wait to hear how that one goes over.
Yeah. Yeah, no, rubber pins, I think it would be awesome. Like a steel core. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. So, what would you say your latest achievements have been? Like either quests or locks you've gotten into?
So I took a break from picking for a while, and I've recently gotten back into it. And right now, I'm trying to pick the F3D.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Fichet F3D. And if you have never seen the inside of that lock, I hope you're sitting down before you see it, because it's complicated.
It's an experience, huh?
It's I mean, there's gears and there's rack and pinions. It's
Wow.
weird. Yeah.
Okay.
So odd. So the last couple of I haven't gotten into it yet, but I'm getting closer. The last couple of nights I've fallen asleep thinking about how it could work in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't picked much in the last year since I get black, but I'm getting back in with that.
Okay. So what would you say is your favorite thing about locksport?
Well, the people are awesome. I love the community.
Most definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, like no matter how beginner you are, how advanced you are, you come in, you ask a question, people are going to be supportive. They're going to congratulate you. I mean, we just had a black belt today, and I think we crashed his phone from pings. So it's an awesome community. The other thing is just how deep it goes. Like if you look in the LPU Discord, there's a room for each individual type of lock. And there are entire communities in those rooms. Like there are people that just hang out in the distant container thing just because it's that deep. Like it's, okay. It goes like you can focus on one specific aspect and never be bored.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like about locksport is you really can go any number of directions and go deep into it. And that's something I enjoy about it as well. Lots of rabbit holes to fall into and get lost in.
Yeah.
So you have a YouTube channel. Can you explain? Yep. I would imagine, like most, you started out with your belt videos, but what did you do with it after that?
You know, it it hasn't gone much past that. I've just I got a couple videos. I think I got one from like some chemical experiment I did that had like 2,000 views, but other than that, it's just belt videos, and like I haven't really done any sort of content on it besides locks.
All right. So you mentioned that you have made some custom picks. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. Well, the first of all, the normal lock picks I started making because, like I said before, I broke so many picks trying to pick barrels. Like the Assus 600 when I was trying to get purple. I broke so many Peterson picks
Ooh.
that I was bankrupting myself.
Ooh.
So I had to start making my own picks. And that's how I got into it. And like they were good enough. No one really wanted them. Like I didn't have any like I did try to get into like resin casting handles.
Okay.
But that never went anywhere. I made a couple prototypes. So it's all that all those skills have built up if I ever want to do it again. But it never really went anywhere.
Yeah, resin's definitely a specific skill set when you're working on that kind of thing, for sure. So
yeah, just learning how to like cast stuff, and yeah, it's all this whole thing. Messy too.
Okay,
but
you dove into another type of pick too, if you want to go into that.
So disc detainer picks. That is so there was a decision not too long ago with the belt rankings to remove the upgrade for making your own disc detainer pick. I kind of disagree with it because it was so. I learned so much doing this myself. Like, I probably went through, probably 50 or maybe 20. I don't know. It's in the tens somewhere of prototypes.
Okay.
Whether that be tips or just handles. I probably went through maybe, I don't know, 10 prototypes of handles and then probably 30 just failed prototypes of tips before I figured it out. Disc detainer pick making is really hard. I had to learn how to braze.
Yes. Yep.
That's really like brazing something like it's so tiny. It's like it's not even normal brazing. It was really hard. It's really labor intensive, but I highly recommend it. It's so much fun.
So, did you just use injector pins, or what were you?
So for tension tips, you can use ejector pins.
Okay.
But for pick tips, they have to be hollow, right? So they got to have a stainless steel or carbon steel tube.
Okay. Yep.
And they don't make like hollow ejector pins. They might make something, but I never found anything like that. So I was just taking literally it was a 304 stainless steel tube that I got out of a specific cheap Chinese quadcopter. Like that, I bought like 10 of them off eBay like 10 years ago. I just found out they have this little stainless steel tube, so I've just been using that as my stock.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, just and then the tips are actually pieces of old Swiss Army knives that I annealed, drilled a hole into, brazed on, shaped, and then hardened.
Okay.
So if you're ever gonna go down this route and it seems this seems prohibitive, I'd say go pay someone and buy tip to like make tips for you. But as far as a handle goes, you can use like a resin bullet. That's a lot easier than making your own.
Okay.
But as far as that goes, the handle I also made, I highly recommend making interlocking handles. My first like 10 prototypes were not interlocking and they sucked.
So, what do you do for a living? Because what we talked about in the pre-interview kind of seems like that would go hand in hand with the solution you came up with for making the DD picks.
I like recycle stuff. I get giant pallets of like weird cell phone tower boxes, and they just pay me to tear them apart and try to find a gold and
the useful metals.
Useful metals. I got like 20 bins around my chair that I just categorize stuff into.
Okay,
it's pretty fun.
All right. So, last question before we wrap up. So you
Sure.
mentioned an interest in car audio as a hobby. Can you talk about that a little
Right.
bit?
Yes. So, 10 feet from my current location in this closet uh, is is a 108-pound subwoofer. That is just there because I haven't built the box for it yet. But point is, I've gotten disturbingly far into car audio to the point where uh, I considered putting an 18-inch gigantic subwoofer in my trunk, which I understand some people think might be insane. I disagree. Uh, you don't know you don't want to know how much that cost.
No, not really.
Yeah, yeah.
I imagine the
Um,
neighbors aren't very friendly with you sometimes.
I haven't put it in the car yet, but back when I did have a car with a sound system, they did not like me. No. Uh, yeah, it's I'm gonna find every loose screw in that car.
Yeah, I can imagine that one too. You're going to create a magnetic field out of your car.
Yeah,
Okay.
just shake stuff off it. Yeah.
So, is there anything you'd like to say to our audience before we wrap up?
Well, like shout outs.
Yeah, whatever you'd like.
All right, I got a small list.
Uh-oh.
Uh, so if you don't hear your name, it's just because you weren't on Discord when I wrote this list. So shout out to Mao, who loves coconuts. Loves it when you send him to his house. Loves it so much. Winnie, aka Inline. Purple Skull, who is the one other person on Discord who also likes car audio. Mel, D&D, Sept, Red, Rain, Cisco, Logan, Peace, Drown on Eye. These are the doctors of the LPU. Plain, Kraken, Nosu, Flebron. Let's see, Spoon, Ryan, Raton, Alan, Justin McSlappy, the Weird Lock Guy, Alpama, and Abrasive. That's what I've written down. People I didn't mention were literal geniuses who I think you should interview at some point.
I will interview anybody that comes forward and says, interview me. So
I mean, I would listen to this in a heartbeat. I have 3 names written down. These guys are geniuses. Boro, Idenherja, I think is how you pronounce his name, and Hux, aka Huxley Pig.
Yep. Okay. All right. It's the first time I've had a call out like that as the final comments, so that's cool. That's you're a trendsetter.
I hope so.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for the interview. This has been fun. It was a lot of laughs when we were talking in the pre-interview too. So, I do appreciate it. So with that, we'll wrap this one up. If you are already a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and all, and hit like on the video. And thank you for listening.